Giant's favorite radio.
Another 5-minute mystery. Far to the south, hidden in the mysterious low country of Cuba, a sugar plantation house, dimly lighted in the somber dusk. In the parlor of the house sits a small, thin woman.
Lester Lockwood was my brother, Inspector. His wife, Nydia, drove him to throw himself off the riverbank.
Suppose you tell me the whole story.
Well, 2 years ago, my brother and his wife left their professorships in the English department at Lynbrook College and came here to live and write. As time went by, Nydia became fascinated by the native drums. One night, she wandered alone in the jungle.
And never came back, yes, I remember.
And then the first of those mysterious notes appeared, written in blood on dried bark. I have been chosen, it said, for one of the living dead. Come to me, Lester, and share my eternity. It was signed, Nydia. Lester watched for her, certain somehow she'd come for him. And last night, we were standing on the jungle path.
Judith, the drums. They're getting louder. She will come, I know she will.
Oh, Lester, give up this plantation. It's evil.
It's too late. She's here.
Oh.
Listen. Did you hear that?
What?
A movement. Yonder, beyond the trees. Look.
Oh, Lester. It is Nydia.
It's true. Judith, my wife's one of the living dead.
Lester, come back!
I've got to find her and save her from this voodoo magic.
He ran off in the darkness, and I went quickly back to the house to wait. And at last, Lester came back.
I couldn't find her. I looked everywhere.
Then you've got to come away from this place tonight.
Judith, look, here on the window ledge.
Oh, another of those terrible notes. What does it say?
You are a human. You cannot know the glory of eternal life. Come to the jungle, to the drums, and share my living death. Keep this between you and I.
Oh, she's trying to destroy you. Trying to, Lester.
I'm going to her, Judith.
No.
Lydia's waiting for me to come.
Lester, come back. Come back.
And this is the note your brother found last night on the window ledge, Miss Lockwood. Eh?
Yes. Others, I suppose he destroyed them.
I see. And you say your brother's wife was formerly an English instructor?
At Lynbrook. She met Lester there.
Your story, Miss Lockwood, is interesting, and I think I know the truth. But the chief at headquarters would rather hear it from you, so come along.
What was the clue that led Inspector James to arrest Judith Lockwood? In a moment, he'll tell us, but first... And now, here's Inspector James.
Under questioning, Judith Lockwood broke down and confessed to the murder of her brother and his wife. She was a pretty mixed-up woman, but she had imagination. I knew Judith had written the note herself because no instructor of the English language is going to make 2 grammatical errors in 4 short sentences. You don't say human for human being. And nothing is ever between you and I. So, if you didn't know, let's keep it between you and me.
Ray, have you noticed the pile of mail in reaction to the film of the Bob and Ray mystery bus ride
Yes.
we ran a few weeks ago? It looks like the folks like more films.
I think so. At least the mail would indicate that.
So we thought we would bring along another one today and run off for you and describe what it is, because winter is just around the corner.
And that is the annual Bob and Ray ski trip, when we invite people to come with us to ski, even you novices. We have gentle slopes for you, and, of course, for the more accomplished skier, we have real dangerous hills.
Going to start the projector right now. This last ski weekend was held in North Conway, New Hampshire last year, and we didn't have anybody but our staff with us.
Right, wait a second. Right here, we're arriving, and we're all getting off the train and waving at each other, and
there's Mary Magoon over there, and Webley Webster, and
throwing snowballs at each other, and they're so happy to be finally at North Conway.
There we go to the chairlift, and we're heading up for the novice slope, which is not as novice as it looks. It's a lot steeper than you can see in these pictures.
Right here now is where Webley falls. There he is. And he got out of the hospital about the 7th of July.
You'll notice that ambulance parked at the foot of the hill. Now you can see the hill. Looking down there, you see the ambulance, and that's kind of a weird sight when you're starting down, not knowing just how good a skier you are. This was the first time for all
It's
of
a comfort, though, the minute you start to tumble, to know...
Wait. There's the shot of you pushing Miss Magoon off the cart.
Look at that.
And she, of course, is arms akimbo.
She took a rather nasty spill. Fortunately, however, she went into a deep snowdrift and didn't suffer much more than laceration.
Well, look, there goes Blue with his pack transmitter. He was going to do a tape describing the sensations as he skied down, but as we see there, he got about 10 feet over the rim and hit the bare rock. And there's the ambulance with its treads. You see, they go right up there close.
You might point out here that pack transmitter he carries came away without a mark. It was still...
We're still using it.
Still using it. While he was...
There you see Ray and I going back down the hill in the chairlift, and the view you get from that is something that you'll long remember. Of course, we remember the weekend for quite some time anyway.
Have we whetted your appetite, folks?
I'll turn it off then.
Right.
Well, that's a sample of it.
So if you'd like to join us for another one of these great weekends, you be sure to let us know. We'll try to keep the price fairly reasonable. You know what I mean?
Wyatt's favorite radio.
Granny's, Abner. I believe that's our ring.
Hi, Doggy's Lum. I believe you're right.
I'll see. Hello, Jot 'em Down store. This is Lum and Abner.
Hi, this is Wyatt Cox. This is the best of Wyatt's favorite radio.
No? Let's see what's going on down in Pine Ridge. Well, the old fellow's dream castle came tumbling down about their heads yesterday when Mr. Wadsworth Tiffin of the Orkney Construction Company pointed out that Mousie's Wonderful World apartment project wouldn't work. The big trouble now is that Squire Skimp's friend, Gregory W. Dobbs, has a check of theirs for $1,200, with which he is supposed to be buying lumber. As we look in on the little community today, we find Abner in the Jot 'em Down store and library. Lum has just come in. Listen.
Well, what'd you find out, Lum? Did Dick Huddleston tell you anything?
Yeah, and it ain't good news neither, Abner.
It ain't, huh?
No, appears like me and you are just out $1,200. Dick says that check we give Mr. Dobbs is good.
Yeah, but I never signed my signatures on that.
Well, he says that don't matter, though.
Huh?
Joint account don't mean we both got to sign the check after all. It just means that either one of us can put our name on a check, and that makes it legal.
Well, wait, though. We ain't exactly out that much money, Lum. Don't forget, we got $1,200 worth of lumber coming. That's what Mr. Dobbs going to do with it, buy lumber.
Yeah, but what can we do with that much lumber? Besides, it was bought in Mr. Dobbs' name, so it actually belongs to him.
Does, huh?
No, Abner. Our only hope now, according to Dick, is to get in touch with the bank at the county seat, and if the check ain't come through yet, tell them to cancel it.
Well, I don't get in touch with the bank. And go ahead, get on the phone right now, Lum.
Well, we got to wait till the bank opens. They don't open till 10 o'clock in the morning. Is it 10 o'clock yet?
Why, sure. 7 minutes after.
For goodness sakes, I better call right away.
Yeah, get them on the phone. Get this thing straightened out right now before it's too late.
I'm afraid we're too late already, though. Mr. Dobbs has had a couple of days to get to the lumber company and order... hello, Mamie? This is Lum Edders, and I want you to call the back... Huh? Oh, I'm fine, Mamie. I want to get in touch with the back... Oh, Abner's fine, too.
Yeah.
Listen, Mamie, I want to call the bank at the county seat. Yes, Mom. I don't know. Just a minute. I'll ask Abner. How's Elizabeth, Abner?
She's fine.
She's fine. Now, hurry up with that call, Mamie. It's important.
That's new shoved her to play.
Oh, I reckon little Pearl's fine, too.
Yeah, she skinned her knee a little bit yesterday, but she's all right.
Skinned her knee a little. Get the call now, Mamie. Granny, it's getting harder every day to make a long-distance call with all them questions Mamie keeps asking you.
Yeah. Doggy reckon she gets awful lonesome sitting there staring at them wires all day long, old Lum. Never sees nobody.
Say, that reminds me, we ain't saw Squire since he went away with Mr. Dobbs the day we give him the check.
No.
Reckon Squire's back in town yet?
Well, I don't know. I talked to his woman last night, and she said she didn't know when.
Hello? Is this the bank speaking? Well, I'd like to talk with that light-haired teller in the first cage.
Yeah, that's the one, Jenkins. I couldn't recollect his name.
Ask him about the check, Lum.
Well, I ain't got hold of the right fellow here.
Oh.
Hello, Mr. Jenkins. This is Lum Edwards. Yeah, me and Abner's got a joint account with the bank there. Abner Peabody. Yeah, that's it. Pine Ridge. Well, look, we read a check on that account, and we want to know if it's come through yet. Oh, it's Mr. Gregory W. Dobbs. $1,200. More than likely they've been endorsed by a lumber company.
Has it come through yet, Lum?
He's going to look it up. What's that, Mr. Jenkins? Well, no, we don't know Mr. Dobbs very good, but all we know is that he's a big building contractor.
Yeah.
He is. Well, I do know. Are you sure about that? Well, I'll sworn to goodness. Yeah, I'll hold the phone. You look up the check. Hey, Granny's, Abner, did you hear that?
No, I ain't on the phone.
If that don't beat the bugs a fight.
What'd he say?
He said Mr. Dobbs weren't no builder at all. Nothing but a no-good bum that hangs around town there. Been arrested for being a pickpocket 1,000 or 100 times.
For the land's sake.
And on top of that, he says he's inebriate.
Inebriate?
I believe that's what he called it.
Well, I do know. To look at him, you never would have known he was a foreigner, would you?
No, sir, you never would. Never had no accent. Hello? Oh, it's come through, huh? Well, what lumber company endorsed it? Maybe we can write to them and cancel the order.
Yeah, that's a thing to do, yeah.
It's what? He did. Well, I'll be dead blamed. Well, is there any way we could get that back? Oh. Well, all right, Mr. Jenkins. I reckon we found out what we wanted to know. Yes, sir. Well, much obliged anyway. All right. Goodbye. And I sworn to goodness.
What's the matter now?
Mr. Dobbs never went to no lumber company. He just endorsed that check over to Squire, and Squire deposited it in the bank under his own name.
Why, that snake in the weeds.
And the worst part about it is that there ain't no way we can get that money back. The check's done gone through, and everything's legal.
My doggy's eyes are feared all the time Squire was up to something like this, Lum.
Yeah, we oughta never taken his word about that Mr. Dobbs. We oughta investigated him ourselves.
Of course we have.
Come to think about it, he never appeared to know much about the building business, did he?
Well, I know all he done was smoke our cigars and look at the plans upside down and say, great, great. That's all he said, great, great.
Yeah, now that I think about it, if he was actually a builder, he would have saw right away that Mousie's plan never would have worked.
Why, of course he would.
Never taken that Mr. Wadsworth Kiffin but about 2 seconds to figure out they wouldn't have nobody to sell all them houses to.
Yeah, I wish he wouldn't have saw that so quick. Then we could have sold him the plan for that $50,000 this company was offering.
Well, that wouldn't be right, though, Abner. Can't sell a feller something that ain't worth nothing at all.
No, I reckon not. But if Mousie's plan had have been good, well, we'd have sure had all the money. Wait a minute. Look out there. Look who's coming up there, Lum.
Well, I'll be Squire Skimp.
Yeah, look how he's strutting and swinging that cane.
Yeah.
That's all the way he does when he's up to something. My doggies will put a stop to that. I'll tell him a couple of things, the snake in the weeds.
Well, now, wait, Abner. Don't do nothing rash. Just let him do the talking, because we don't want him to find out what we know about Mr. Dobbs and what we done with the check and all.
Well, we ain't going to let him keep it, are we?
No, but it's going to take a heap of studying to figure out some way to get it away from it.
Yeah.
If we can. Find out. Here he comes.
Now, howdy, Squire.
Yeah, come on in, Squire.
Well, gentlemen, wonderful world.
Yeah, ain't it, though?
Well, I have some good news for you, Lum. The lumber has all been ordered and paid for. And it won't be long now before we'll be breaking ground for the first apartment building.
It won't, huh?
Oh, no. The foundation is the next thing to work on, and so WW wants you to make out a check for the cement and sand and other materials necessary for this part of the construction, Lum.
Oh, Mr. Dobbs wants another check, does he?
Yes. Now, WW figures that by using his influence, he can purchase sufficient materials for only $2,000. How he can get it for such a low figure, I don't know. A financial wizard at WW. Yes, indeed, a financial wizard. Now, if you'll just make out the check,
Well, Squire, I don't believe we're going to build them Wonderful World apartments after all.
What's that? Not going to build them?
No, we ain't, Squire. See, there was a feller in here yesterday. He was from some construction company in Chicago, I believe he said, and he wanted to buy this apartment plan for $50,000.
$50,000?
Yes, sir. He even had a certified check all made out to it.
Well, I do know. Well, have you sold it to him yet, Lum?
Of course not. See, this feller got to figuring out...
Abner, let me explain this.
Oh.
I believe I got a good way of doing it.
Yeah.
You see, Squire, we couldn't sell it to him on account of Mr. Dobbs had already bought the lumber, and so natural we'd have to go ahead and use the plan ourselves.
Oh, I see. This construction man wanted to buy the exclusive rights to the plan.
Oh, yeah. Now, you want exclusive rights.
Yes, well, now, wait a minute now, Lum. Just a second ago, you said you weren't going to build the apartment.
I mean that we wouldn't build them if we could get out of it.
Oh.
There's some way we could get our money back from that lumber, but, of course, I reckon it's too late for that, huh?
Well, no. Now, I believe that can be arranged, Lum. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll talk to the lumber company about that as soon as I can.
You can use our phone call from right here, right away.
Yes, well, you see, Lum, the lumber company's awful busy these days. They hate to be bothered with phone calls. I'll be going in the county seat this afternoon. I'll take it up with them when I get in there.
Well, why don't you give us a check for the $1,200, Squire, and then you can get it back from the lumber company?
Well, no, I can't very well do that, Lum. What if a lumber company won't give me back the money?
Well, I'll call them right now and find out. What's the name of the company?
Well, now, Lum, well, here now, perhaps your idea is the best, Lum. Now that I think about it, yes, I'll give you a check for that amount. You sure now that I can sell her that you can sell these plans for $50,000?
The feller's got a certified check all made out.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the best thing to do. And let's see, where's my fountain pen?
Here it is. You left it in here the other day when we had the meeting with Mr. Dobbs.
Oh, yes, good.
You left your blotter, too. That wanted I signed by mistake when I thought I was signing the check there, too, Squire.
Abner, hush up. Don't bother Squire when he's writing there.
Oh.
Squire Skimp. There you are, Lum. Now, of course, there's one thing more, Lum. I don't know whether you're familiar with the law or not, but it's not legal for you to sell a construction plan of any kind without being a registered real estate man.
Oh, I never knowed that, Squire.
Of course, now I can handle this for you, Lum. That is, if I could show legal ownership of the plan, just long enough to make the deal, you understand.
Well, I don't know, Squire. How do we know we'd get anything out of it, though, if you was the owner?
Oh, tut. You know me better than that, Lum. But just to show my good faith, I'll give you the receipt. Let me look at my wallet here. See, 10, 20, 30, 40, 60... Here, $75 cash to show my good faith.
That's fair enough.
Yes.
Abner, hand Squire them plans that Mousy drawed up.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, thank you, Abner. Now, what's the name of this construction man, Lum?
Wadsworth Tippin. He's with the Orkney Construction Company of Chicago.
Yes, Orkney. Well, I'll get right on this, yes, indeed, and I'll report back to you gentlemen just as soon as possible. Well, so long, man.
So long, Squire. He thinks he's bought himself something, don't he?
Mom, I thought you said it weren't right to sell a feller something that ain't worth nothing.
Abner, there's an exception to all rules. And Squire Skimp is an exception to every rule I ever heard of.
Well, it looks like that we have Lum and Abner getting the best of Squire Skimp for once. And that's good news. Lum and Abner. May 5th, 1942. Wyatt Cox, Wyatt's Favorite Radio. We head back 53 years for an episode of Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad.
Gunsmoke. Around Dodge City and in the territory on West, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers, and that's with a U.S. Marshal and the smell of gun smoke. Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad. The transcribed story of the violence that moved west with young America. And the story of a man who moved with it.
I'm that man, Matt Dillon, United States Marshal. The first man they look for and the last they want to meet. It's a chancy job, and it makes a man watchful and a little lonely. Chester and I were about 30 miles from Dodge when we ran into the buffalo hunters' camp. We've been holed up for 2 days in a deserted sod hut, taking cover from one of the worst blizzards in years. But it was over now, and a warm, dry chinook blew out of the west, down off the Rockies and across the prairie into Kansas. It was Chester who saw the camp first, a pile of buffalo hides half covered by snow, and the skeleton of a wagon, its canvas torn and shredded by the blizzard. The camp was silent as we rode up. We got on.
There ain't nary a soul here, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah, maybe the men got caught out on the prairie when the blizzard hit and couldn't get back.
It sure does look that way.
I don't know how that team is still alive with nothing but that wagon for protection.
They don't look none too lively.
You sure can't blame them.
Get your hands up, both of you.
You better do what the old man says, Chester.
He was hiding in the wagon.
Come over here, closer.
This your camp, mister?
Of course, it's my camp. Now, you two drop them guns.
Now, we got our hands up. Isn't that enough?
You do what I say. I ain't taking no chances. I ain't going to get left here again.
Left?
You're going to hitch up that team, and you're going to take me into Dodge. You ain't running off like Jed Larner.
Who's Jed Larner?
He's my skinner.
Oh, why did he leave you?
Well, he seen that blizzard coming, and he didn't want to take any chances, so he rode off. He's probably been in Dodge all the time, warm and cozy.
Oh, why didn't you go with him?
I twisted my leg and my foot so that I can't ride a horse, that's why. Larner figured driving the wagon be too slow.
You mean he left you here to freeze?
Yeah, and I'll kill him when I find him. And I'll kill you if you don't drive me to Dodge.
Now, here, he's a U.S. Marshal, mister. He ain't going to leave you out here.
Marshal?
Yeah, that's right. Now, why don't you put down that rifle and tell us who you are?
Well, all right. My name's Ira Pucket, Marshal. I'm usually up north following the Republican herd, but I come south this year. I'm getting old, and I thought it'd be warmer down here.
You sure made a mistake about that, didn't you?
You'll get me into Dodge, won't you?
Sure, of course we will.
Foot I twisted, I don't feel nothing in it. Must be froze.
Huh? Well, it could be.
I'll kill Jed Larner for this.
You forget about that, Pucket. I'm not taking you back to Dodge just so you can hang.
I'll forget it. Till I find him.
How is he, Doc?
Oh, he'll be all right, Matt. In time.
Well, then his foot wasn't so bad after all, huh?
He didn't have much foot left when I got through him.
Oh.
But he'll be able to walk with a cane. But his buffalo hunting days are over.
How does he know that?
Mm-hmm, I told him. Ira Pucket's a proud man, Matt. A little too proud.
Oh, what do you mean?
Well, what he hated most about this Jed Larner leaving him on the prairie wasn't the fact that he might have died, but that he was helpless. A man like Pucket can't stand being helpless.
Yeah, I see.
So now, all crippled up, he's a better man, Matt.
Well, he'll get over it, Doc. A man can get used to most anything in time.
I've got my doubts about Pucket, though. Well, you know that ornery old goat? He won't even admit how old he is.
Oh, how old would you guess, Doc?
Oh, he's past 70 anyway. He's in the back there if you want to see him.
All right.
I'll come with you.
Well, hello, Pucket.
Marshal?
How you feeling?
Doc tell you what he done to me?
Yeah.
He ruined my foot.
I saved your life, Pucket.
I ain't sure I'm grateful, Doc.
You're going to be all right, Pucket. You're going to be able to get around.
Yeah, like old woman. What am I going to do for a living? I ain't one of you city people. I live off the country. I always have. I'm a man, not a dude.
You'll get used to town life. And you'll find men here, too.
What kind of men? Walking around all slickered up, parting the hair in the middle, bound to the ladies. Ain't one of 'em could do half the things I've done. Well, I was living with Comanches when most of 'em was sniveling in their mother's aprons.
Yeah, I know. But you'll find something to do. I'll help you.
You will, eh?
Well, sure.
Then help me find Jed Larner. Bring him in here so that I can kill him with my bare hands.
What does Larner look like, Pucket?
He's tall, black hair, got a big scar running across one eye and halfway down his right cheek.
All right, I'll try to find him. And if I do, I'll run him out of town before you get to him.
So, can't even trust you, can I?
Not when you want to murder a man. I told you I didn't bring you in so you could hang.
From New Year's Day, 1956, William Conrad, starring as Matt Dillon in Gunsmoke. Now, for all those years of seeing him as Cannon, it's hard for a lot of people to visualize William Conrad in that Matt Dillon role that was played by James Arness, and played with nowhere near the fiercity that Conrad did. Wyatt Cox, Wyatt's Favorite Radio. We'll talk more about this with Gunsmoke in a bit here on your favorite station.
It's early afternoon in the richly appointed Manhattan office of Greg Marlowe, young playwright secretly in love with Mary. On the telephone, he's apparently wrapping up an important deal, as we hear.
Something like $250,000 above the line, and I figure here $386,000 below the line. So that should give us a profit figure of somewhere around $6,836,000 for 13 weeks. Yes. Well, my projections here would be over a period of 2 years, something like $44 million net. Mm-hmm. Right. Goodbye. Yes?
Mr. Marlowe, there's a Harry backstage to see you.
Oh, send them right in.
Thank you.
Come in,
Hello, Mr. Marlowe.
Harry?
Do you remember me, Harry Backstage Jr.?
Why, Harry Backstage Jr.
Guess you thought it was my dad, the famous Broadway star, beloved idol of a million other women.
I certainly did.
This is my friend Neil. Neil, say hello to Greg Marlowe, young
Mr.
playwright
Marlowe.
secretly in love with my mother.
Hello there. Hello, Neil. No, I haven't seen you, Harry Jr., since, I guess your christening.
Yeah.
It's changed quite a bit.
I don't remember that. I've been away for a while.
Yeah, he's been away, Mr. Marlowe, for a long time. You
And
know
I
where
came-
he was? He was digging...
I'll tell him, Neil.
For exotic shells and dry tortugas.
I was digging for exotic shells, and you'll never guess where, Mr. Marlowe.
Where, dry tortugas?
Dry tortugas.
Mm-hmm.
And I came home to Skunk Haven. I saw the lights on, came in, and lo and behold, there's my schoolmate, Neil.
I was there, and nobody else was there, and he said to me, Mr. Marlowe, he said, Neil, where's my parents? Well, that's a funny question to ask, because they've been wondering where you were. You haven't been in school since September, I said to him.
And then Neil said, I haven't seen these parents of yours for the past several weeks, and I'd suggest you go to Greg Marlowe, young playwright secretly in love with Mary, and ask him where they are.
Mr. Marlowe, we don't know where the backstages are. That is, the parents.
That's what we've come here for, to find out.
Say, come to think of it, I haven't seen Harry or Mary for weeks now. I don't know where they are.
So Harry Jr. and his friend Neil appeal to Greg Marlowe for help in locating Harry's parents. Greg offers his assistance when our story continues and we hear him say,
Put that cigar back in the box.
That's in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking.
Wyatt's Favorite Radio.
From New Year's Day, 1956, Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad as Matt Dillon in an episode entitled Pucket's New Year.
The next few weeks, I kept a sharp eye out for Jed Larner. But he must have headed for some other part of the country. Anyway, he never showed up in Dodge. Well, time passed, and Ira Pucket was able to get around a little. First with the help of crutches, and then finally with a cane. But it was obvious his hunting days were over, and that alone seemed to shame him. Then one night his pride really got a blow. I was at the Long Branch having a beer with Kitty when it happened.
Oh, this is a great way to start the new year, Matt.
What do you mean, Kitty?
Well, last year I was hoping maybe I'd be in San Francisco by now.
Oh? You never told me.
What would you have done about it?
Oh, nothing, I guess. Why San Francisco?
No blizzards, no dust, no cowboys.
Yeah, but they got fog.
Yeah?
And all those sailors and miners aren't any gentler than these cowboys, you know.
Well, I know. But imagine going to dinner in a carriage, eating off a tablecloth, dancing on a hardwood floor.
You're spoiled, Kitty.
Well, now, how could I got spoiled? Here, in Dodge City?
Save your money. You'll get to California someday.
Yeah, sure. If I walk.
Well, a lot of people are gone that way.
Who do you think I am, Sacagawea?
There was a woman.
Yeah.
You know, I always...
What's the matter, Matt?
That man at the bar, he just turned around.
Which man?
The one with the scar down his cheek. I'll be back, Kitty.
Good evening, Marshal.
Evening.
What are you staring at me for?
Your name Jed Larner?
And if it is?
How long you been in town, Larner?
About an hour. Something wrong, Marshal?
You remember the big blizzard we had?
Who don't?
We all do, I guess. Especially Ira Pucket.
What?
He didn't die, Larner.
Well, that's fine. I went back looking for him. I wondered where he got to.
Yeah, sure you did.
Well, it's true.
Pucket's here in Dodge, Larner.
He is?
And if he finds you, he'll kill you. But he isn't going to find you because you're leaving right now. And don't show up around here again.
Now, wait, Marshal.
I can't arrest you. I can't put you in jail. But I tell you what I can do.
What?
Suppose I just let everybody here know that you're the man who ran off and left Ira Pucket to die.
No.
You know something? They'd tear you apart, Larner. They'd set you on fire.
Don't say nothing, Marshal. Don't tell him. I'll leave. I'll leave right now.
Well, you got rid of him in a hurry.
I saved him from being shot and Ira Pucket from hanging for it, Kitty.
Well, that was Jed Larner.
Uh-huh.
He's the one that ought to hang.
Yeah, he didn't mean to kill the old man, Kitty.
What's the difference?
Well, legally there's some.
Enough to give Ira his foot back?
You're sure hard to argue with, Kitty.
Why? Because I think straight?
Let's talk about San Francisco, huh?
I've changed my mind. I think I'll go to New York.
Oh?
Marshal Dillon.
Ira Pucket, man.
Yeah.
He looks awful mad. Good thing he isn't armed.
Now, he can always find a gun, Kitty.
You done it, Marshal. It was you, wasn't it?
You saw Jed Larner.
He jumped on his horse and rode out of town before I could stop him. And I had to stand there and watch. I didn't even have a rock to throw at him. Why'd you do it, Marshal?
To save you from hanging,
Well, I'd rather hang and live this way. I wasn't born to become my helpless old man. The least you could have done was let me fight my own battle like I always did out on the plain. You took my manhood away from me, Marshal.
You're living in town now, Ira, among people. Why don't you get used to it?
All right. All right, I will. I'll live like you town people.
Fine. Then why don't you start by getting yourself a job?
I'm going to. I sure am. And it's going to pay me a lot of money, too.
What do you mean by that?
You'll find out, Marshal. When it's too late.
It's a nice morning, ain't it, Mr. Dillon?
Yeah, thanks to that wind we had last night.
Well, it kept me awake.
All night, Chester?
Well, no, sir, I wouldn't say that. About 15 minutes. Hey, look over there by the bank, Mr. Dillon. Ain't that Ira Pucket?
Yeah. That's the first time he's had his team and wagon out.
Where you reckon he's going?
Right now, he's gone into the bank.
Well, what's he carrying that shotgun for? He can't do no hunting in the bank.
Yes, he can, Chester. Come on.
Mr. Dillon, you don't mean to say old Pucket's going to hold that bank up?
He said last night he's going to start living like town people and get a job and make a lot of money. This could be his idea of how to do it.
You sure couldn't have no other reason to carry that shotgun in there. You going in after him, Mr. Dillon?
Yeah.
Well, he's got a shotgun.
I know. Look, Chester, take his team and wagon off somewhere. Lead him around back of the bank, huh? Out of sight. Maybe we can handle this without a shooting.
All right, sir.
Hurry it up, Chester. He's coming out.
I'm long gone, Mr. Dillon. Marshal.
Come on out, Pucket. I'm not stopping you.
You better not try it. I can shoot with one hand, Marshal.
Yeah, sure.
Don't you try to follow me. Hey, wait a minute. Wait. Where's my wagon? Where's my team?
You're in a bad fix, Pucket.
Somebody stole them. I can't get away without my team.
No, you can't, Pucket. So you might as well give up.
You've done it. You're behind this, Marshal.
You gonna shoot me?
Why shouldn't I?
Because you're in enough trouble already. And shooting me won't help a bit. You're trapped, Pucket, and there isn't a thing you can do about it. Now, you use your head.
All right. Here. Here's the money. Now, you bring my outfit back. I ain't going to jail, Marshal.
It's like I said, Pucket, shooting me isn't going to help you. And I'm not going to do a thing about your outfit.
You think you outsmarted me, don't you?
Give it up, Pucket. You're licked.
Yeah, well, No. Oh, I can't shoot you, Marshal. Here, take the gun.
Good.
I'm nothing but a helpless old fool. Can't even rob a bank proper.
I'm not sure you really wanted to, Pucket.
What?
All you wanted was to prove something about that manhood you think has been taken away from you. But you sure picked a foolish way to do it.
Yeah, I guess I did.
My goodness, I thought he wouldn't never give up, Mr. Dillon.
He didn't have much choice, Chester.
I went in the back way and told the people in the bank to keep out of the way. You want me to take him to jail?
Oh, no, I can't stand jail. Please, Marshal.
Lock him up, Chester. I'll return this money and have a talk with Mr. Bodkin. I'll be over later. I thought I told you to lock him up, Chester.
Well, I started to, Mr. Dillon, but I just couldn't stand the look on him when I got him in the cell.
Ira, you know, it seems to me everybody treats you pretty well.
Yeah, everybody but Jed Larner.
That's true. But Chester and I brought you in. Doc saved your life. I kept you from hanging, and if I hadn't outsmarted you at the bank, you'd probably be lying dead somewhere now. You know, it seems to me everybody's gone to a lot of trouble for an old man full of a lot of foolish pride. What do you think?
I've been thinking, Marshal. sitting here thinking. You know what? You're right. But it's too late now.
No, it isn't, Ira.
What?
I explained everything to Mr. Bodkin at the bank, and he's willing to drop any charges against you. But on one condition.
What's that?
Well, to be honest with you, it was my idea, but Mr. Bodkin agreed. You get a job here and quit being so doggone ornery. Otherwise, you're going to go to jail.
Oh, what could I do with this crippled foot?
Well, seeing you're so handy with a shotgun, I think Jim Buck might hire you to ride messenger on the stage.
You think so?
Well, he told me he would.
You went and saw him?
And it doesn't take any walking, Ira. So, how about it, huh?
Well, I never had a job like that. But a man's got to make a change once in a while, lady. And it'll sure be a good way to start the new year.
On the high plains, they used to have a saying, never argue with a mule, a cook, or a horse and buggy doctor. Well, next week, an Easterner who never heard that saying comes to Dodge. And he makes the mistake of fighting with the wrong people. He nearly dies as a result of it. But that was the West. Good night.
Gunsmoke, produced and directed by Norman Macdonald, stars William Conrad as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal. Our story was specially written for Gunsmoke by John Meston, with music composed and conducted by Rex Corey. Sound patterns by Tom Hanley and Bill James. Featured in the cast were Ralph Moody and James Nusser. Harley Bear is Chester, Howard McNear is Doc, and Georgia Ellis is Kitty.
And Gunsmoke from New Year's Day, 1956. James Nusser portraying the role as Pucket in that. Talk a little bit about Gunsmoke and some ways we haven't talked about Gunsmoke in a while. And some of the conflicts that really affected what followed. Wyatt Cox, Wyatt's Favorite Radio. Back in a moment. Thanks for joining us here on Wyatt's Favorite Radio. We have not played a lot of Gunsmoke. And we really might want to get into some more as we get into 2010, because this was an amazing show. Back in the late 40s, CBS's chairman, William Paley, who loved the Philip Marlowe radio series, asked his chief of programming, Hubel Robinson, to develop a Philip Marlowe of the Old West type character. And Robinson put that into the lap of West Coast CBS Vice President Harry Ackerman, who had developed the Philip Marlowe series. Mort Fine David Friedkin created an audition strip called Mark Dillon Goes to Gougi. They created a couple of auditions, and first one, a hard-boiled detective series, starred Ryle Bilsbury as Dillon. Second one starred Straight Arrow actor Howard Culver in a more Western light version of the same script. They liked the second version. They went on with it. Culver couldn't do it because he was the star of Straight Arrow and he couldn't do another series. Project got shelved for 3 years. And it was discovered when they turned around to try to create another adult Western series of their own, when Norm Macdonald and John Meeston went to create the series. And so in creating the adult Western, they set Gunsmoke in Dodge City during the cattle days of the 1870s. As John Dunning noted in his wonderful tome that we refer to often here, which is the On the Air, the Encyclopedia of Old Time Radio, which if you're an old-time radio fan, I thoroughly recommend you get a copy of it. Series ran from 1952 until 1961 on CBS. William Conrad was Marshal Dillon, Howard McNear as Doc, Georgia Ellis as Kitty, Parley Bear as Dillon's assistant. Now, those names should all sound familiar to her. Howard McNear, while he was on radio, best known as Doc Adams, became Floyd Lawson, the barber in the Andy Griffith Show. According to people who were on the Andy Griffith Show, McNear's real-life personality more like his character than any others. He was a regular on the show until he had a stroke. And during that third season of the show, they brought him back and managed to find a way to accommodate his disability from the stroke. He did pass away from the effects of another stroke in 1969. Not much is known about Georgia Ellis, apart from her appearing in the role. As you might suspect, there were differences between the characterizations. Georgia Ellis and Kitty during the radio show was the lady of the evening. And although it's never said, it's hinted at. And Kitty on television was portrayed as a saloon proprietor, which gave a whole different dynamic to that relationship. Parley Bear also, when he left Gunsmoke, went to television in the Andy Griffith Show. He became Mayor Roy Stoner. Now, you've seen him in lots of TV shows. He was Darby on The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet. He was on The Addams Family quite a bit, and on The Young and the Restless. Lots of television programs, but I think you'll remember him as the Mayor of Mayberry, as his best-known role. Of course, William Conrad, my goodness, we know him as Cannon. Now, I would suggest that you look up Gunsmoke Radio on the Internet, because what you'll see there, the top result comes back for a set of pictures over an OTR site. A set of pictures of the radio cast, dressed up in television, and shot out at Knott's Berry Farm. And you realize that these are probably what Matt Dillon and Chester Proudfoot and the whole crew really looked like. Not the televisionization. The problem was people wanted to go to Hollywood for the TV show, and as a result, you got pretty boys. Harry Bartell has some comments on it at that page, and I would commend you to that. And there's lots of other things that you'll find through the whole series. The wiki discusses it extensively, and I have to tell you that both radio and television, the television series only lasted 20 years. I would think that the radio series would have rivaled that had it come on in maybe 1945, 48. But still, to run from 1952 to 1961, as radio was dumping all of its drama, for it to last that long, amazing. 20 years on television, 9 years on radio, with the potential to have gone so much farther. Gunsmoke, a definite part of Wyatt's favorite radio. And yes, I like the radio series much better than television. I'm Wyatt Cox, WyattsFavoriteRadio.com. We're back in 7 days on your favorite station. See ya.